This VPS Game Time broadcast is brought to you in part by the Foundation for Vancouver Public Schools, getting kids to school healthy, happy, and ready to learn. For more information, go to www.foundationforvps.org.
Hello and welcome to the VPS Game Time presentation of Greater St. Helens League football. As kickoff gets ready to get set, tonight two teams playing for two different goals on the final night of the regular season. For Fort Vancouver, a chance to win their first game of the year and finish a difficult rebuilding year on a positive note. Could be a season-defining win tonight. For Prairie, a win has playoff implications, keeping them alive in the race for the league's final spot. I'm Patrick Preston, joined by Nick Ball. We have the call tonight, and thanks for joining us for the opening kickoff. As Prairie takes it back, cuts into the middle of the field and tackled just at midfield. That's number 18 for Prairie. That's Jason Maddox, the junior, taking it back into Fort Vancouver territory, Nick. And wow, what a start to the game.
Yeah, great starting field position here for Prairie, looking to start this game off well and try to bury a winless team early. But this Fort team throughout the season has shown no signs of giving up, so even an early score will probably not dissuade them.
The refs put the ball right at midfield. What a great night for football. This weather, amazing.
Feels like a September game and not an October game.
It does. If you're on your way down here, get on down because it's a great time, a great place to watch the football tonight. First play of the game is a quick pass out to the right side, and that is number 4 for Prairie.
That's Isaiah Ward on the quick out.
Nice short, quick pass, and that picks up about 8 yards there, set up a second down and short.
Yeah, so we've got some interesting playoff things going on today. Prairie here playing for the opportunity to try to catch the third spot from the Greater St. Helens League 3A playoffs. They're in a race with a couple other teams, so it's interesting to see what happens across the league tonight.
A plethora of scenarios to get to tonight. We'll cover that, but first it's Ward again with a cut through on the left side. He's cutting up the middle now, and he could go to the 12-yard line. That's about a 30-yard run right there for Isaiah Ward in his second play of the game.
Yeah, clever little cutback there to avoid the tacklers, pick up an extra 10 yards or so.
So Prairie is already on the move now. The Falcons looking to score in the red zone here on the first drive of the game. Fort Vancouver, this is senior night, I imagine. Last regular season game of the year. Saw some families honoring their players out there before game time.
Yeah, it was a special night for seniors. Last game.
And here we go, already in the action. And this time, Fort Vancouver stuffs it in the backfield.
You know, football, one of those sports, not one you can pick up after you're done with high school. This is the last time these kids are going to play football.
Absolutely.
It's not like basketball, me and you on the pickup court.
And if Fort Vancouver can get the win tonight, the stories they'll tell about this game here. But right now, Prairie is threatening as it's second down now. It looks like a loss of about a yard on that play.
Noah Brumley in the backfield. Prairie switching its running backs between plays.
And there's another quick pass out left, and this one has a chance for, Fort Vancouver wraps it up there. It looks like the 2-yard line. But again, Logan Reed, the quarterback for Prairie, with the quick outlet pass. And that's picking up yardage.
Yeah, first and goal on the 2, it looks like.
So just a minute into the action here tonight at Kiggins Bowl, and already Prairie right on the doorstep of the game's first touchdown. They'll get a fresh set of downs here on the 1-yard line. Reed, the quarterback, calling out the plays with 2 in the backfield. There's the handoff, and in for the game's first touchdown. That's number 6 for Prairie. That's Aaron Brumley, the senior. Put 6 on the board for the Falcons.
Yeah, good push by the offensive line there. Making that play happen for Brumley. Fort was in position, but they were overpowered by that front line of Prairie.
So a minute 11 on the first drive of the game, and Prairie now with the opportunity to make it a 7-point lead. This game just begun, and already we're seeing a lot of football action. Extra point up and good.
That's Taylor Lawhead on the kick, junior, 6-footer junior. He's got a lot of leg. He really put a lot into that one. I think when you play at Kagan's Bowl, the scoreboard is right behind the upright. I feel like if you can hit the sign, you're a pretty good kicker.
Little personal goal of the kickers to try to, drive it as far and deep as they can, maybe hit that sign.
This is speculation. I have not talked to kickers to know what they say about it.
So Fort Vancouver will have a lot of activity tonight for players, offense, defense. They play it all. In fact, there's very few players on this Fort Vancouver squad that don't play two positions on offense and defense.
I counted the uniformed Fort Vancouver players before the game. It looks like they only got about 20 in uniform tonight. A school like Fort, where they start off with a small roster, through attrition, players drop out, and we end up, they end up with a smaller squad by the end of the year. But Coach Steve Broussard hoping, through his presence in the school and through the positive team atmosphere he's trying to build, to recruit more players throughout the years as he's at Fort.
Absolutely. In tonight's game, the final of the season, is the opportunity for this Fort Vancouver squad to build on this year and carry that momentum into next year.
And I think one of the cool things about what Coach Broussard is doing is he talks about team. They have a motto: "It's not about you. It's about the team." And I think that helps you get through tough times like this when you're not alone. You're not playing for your stats. You're playing for the team. And I think that'll really help him throughout the years as he's here, kind of build the numbers up and build the pride around the program.
And as you mentioned tonight, the seniors are playing for have fun. What is their final high school football game. There's the kickoff. It looks like the refs are calling touchback on that one.
Yeah, a good line drive kick there. A little difficult to field at face mask level for the receiver there.
So Fort Vancouver will take the field on offense now for the first time tonight, starting on their 20-yard line.
Not sure. I'm trying to read the number down there. It looks like it's not. Last week at quarterback, when we had them against Hudson's Bay, Trevor Nervasa back at quarterback. It looks like tonight, I'm not sure if that's him back there. I'll have to try to go look at that number.
Fort Vancouver sports 4 quarterbacks on the roster, so we need to verify which one is
I believe it's Joseph Indanino, a senior.
Senior Joseph Indanino. Looks like a jump on that play. That's correct. Joseph Indanino, number 9 there, taking the snap, and the call is a false start on the offense.
Not the start they were hoping for on offense, first play of the game. Looks like Indanino running to the sideline here, get the play call.
So it'll be interesting to watch the game clock right now, down to 18 seconds, and they're still in huddle. So still first down here. First possession of the game on offense for Fort Vancouver, and it's starting off at 1st and 15. Indanino back to pass. It was on target, but the catch could not be made, and that will bring up second down.
Yeah, strike from Indanino. They're showing a good arm, a nice tight spiral, hit the guy in the hands, but sometimes it's tough on that. As a receiver, to turn around and make that catch, the ball's right in your face before you have a chance to catch yourself.
You've watched a lot of football this year. Those quick outlet passes, is that part of the course now? Is that the game plan a lot of the time?
Yeah, I think those are easily completable passes. They don't have to go all the way down the field. It's a quick play, and when you're a team like Fort with a young line and a small line, the quarterback doesn't have a lot of time to sit there in the pocket and let receivers get downfield. So it's an easy way to pick 4 or 5 yards really quick.
Less pressure on the line. There's a dump off, and the runner grabbed right away by the defense. Interesting design on the play, but the looked like the end there was able to just get an arm around and stop that one.
Yeah, I think if he had gotten past that initial tackler, that could have been a nice gain, but a good job on the end there, staying at home and wrapping him up.
So Fort Vancouver now on the 16-yard line, 3rd and 14. As we mentioned, weather tonight, beautiful for football. No rain, just a little bit of a chill, but it feels good on a Friday. And it looks like we've got another call of false start here on Fort Vancouver. That'll back up another 5 yards.
Looks like was looking out to his left, had left out there. Looking that direction, but flag thrown. Play.
So the false start calls are it's a matter of experience. You get enough game time, you get a sense of how this goes and the flow of the calls from the quarterback.
And it's also hard too when you're changing quarterbacks. Last week, Trevor Boss was the starter, so
And he was scrambling to his left. He'll be taken down roughly the 6-yard line. Trying to get out of it, looking for somebody open downfield. Prairie was there, the 2-man right on.
for any quarterback rolling out to your left like that across your body, especially a high school student, not an NFL guy. It's hard for you exactly to throw across your body like that, like a shortstop. It's pretty difficult.
So we'll have a punt situation here on 4th down from the end zone. Vancouver gets the ball off. Nice bounce. Nice bounce for Fort Vancouver. Prairie's letting it roll, and Fort Vancouver lets it get all the way back to the 44-yard line. So that bounce certainly helped change the field position here and give Fort Vancouver the chance for the defense to try to make an impact.
Yeah, number 4, Isaiah Ward there with a smart choice to let a difficult bounce go by him. You know, you want to return the kick, that's your job, but you also got to be smart about it, and he made a pretty smart play right there because ultimately it only cost him about 6-7 yards.
Prairie came out rapid fire on offense, picking up some big chunks of yardage, starting off with those side passes and then just the run right through the middle. We'll have to see if they keep that game plan in mind or if we see anything different here.
Looks like Prairie with 2 receivers out wide to the left. The safety playing way off the slot receiver. Curious to see if they go there.
Yeah, Reed has 4 options outside, but he ends up pitching it back to Aaron Brumley, who he's rumbling past a couple tacklers and all the way down to the 39-yard line. It's a pickup of 17 yards there for Brumley.
I don't know if Brumley has any nicknames, but he's rumbling down. He's Brumley. He could be like Brumbly.
You got the ums, and that's all you need. Yeah, that was a great run. Aaron Brumley, the senior there. So Prairie, as you mentioned in the open, Prairie's playing for a lot tonight, too. They have a lot riding on the potential for a win here and some help around the league.
Yeah, they've got their eyes peeled on the other action out in the other games this week. Hudson's Bay playing Kelso in a massive game. Evergreen, I believe, is up against Mountain View. And those games, along with this game, will determine who makes the playoffs for the Greater St. Helens League. We'll have a little bit more information on that later in the game, kind of break down the playoff chase.
Brumley this time, the Fort Vancouver defense stuffs it at the 35. Still picks up 4 on it, and that'll bring up 2nd and 6.
Good team tackling there.
Prairie looking to go quick, it looks like.
You know, when you're playing a team that's going both ways, running plays quick, not letting them catch their breath, it's a smart move.
This time a pass, left side, connection down on the sideline. Some dancing there by number 5, Jake Bobst.
Another senior. Yeah, he came out of that slot position. Fort's playing off the slot receiver, so he was pretty open. They did a good job of getting down there and gang tackling him, but not before he picked up the first down.
So formation for Prairie again, 2 on the left receivers, 2 right receivers. Another pass play, and this one he's going for the touchdown here. He's got it right there, number 3, Anthony Estrada with the reception for the touchdown from Logan Reed. 2nd score of the game for Prairie.
Yeah, you saw Reed pump fake the throw there, draw the defenders in or make them pause at least, and that opened up the receiver for the big touchdown.
Nicely executed play by Prairie.
Nothing more exciting in football than the long touchdown pass, the amount of touch and finesse it takes to make that play happen.
Yeah, a lot of one-on-one matchups there with the 4 receivers out on sides. Extra point is up, and it's good.
All right, so just like that, 14-0 Prairie. They want to make the playoffs. I don't think they're hiding that.
No, so they want to go ahead and set the tone for the other 3 quarters in this first quarter by making sure that they're executing very well, and it looks like they're going to continue their offensive efficiency at this point. We'll see if Fort Vancouver can throw a wrinkle in their game plan.
Yeah, and I'm sure Coach Kevin Baker has been talking to them all week long about the importance of this game. So, you know, they're ready to go. And
hey, yeah, they're well prepared.
So there are those Greater St. Helens League standings. You can see we're talking about the playoff run. So here's how it breaks down. Mountain View has already clinched a playoff spot. They're undefeated in league. Then it gets tricky. If Hudson's Bay beat Kelso and Mountain View beats Evergreen tonight, Bay is number 2, Kelso is number 3. That's scenario 1. If Hudson's Bay beats Kelso and Evergreen beats Mountain View, there would be a 3-way tie for second place with Bay, Evergreen, and Kelso. Scenario 3, if Kelso beats Hudson's Bay and Evergreen beats Mountain View, Kelso is number 2 and Evergreen is number 3. And scenario 4, if Kelso beats Hudson's Bay and Mountain View beats Evergreen and Prairie beats Fort Vancouver, it's a lot of things happening all at once. Kelso's number 2, and there's a 3-way tie for third place between Bay, Evergreen, and Prairie. That's a lot, I know. So basically, those who win tonight go to the playoffs.
Hope everybody wrote that down as you were going on that. Here's a kickoff. Fort Vancouver taking it back, and a nice return all the way up to the 34-yard line.
Yeah, way to hit the seam there. That was Tyler Runkle. You know, he had a big game last week against Hudson's Bay on defense and on offense, and showing why he's been a real weapon for the Trappers this year. He finds the seam and bursts right through it for a big return. This is a great way for Fort to get out of the shadow of its own end zone and start their second drive with some field position.
Yeah, they're in much better shape right now in field position with this drive starting off on the 34-yard line there for Fort Vancouver.
And we're going to try to keep you updated on those other scores here tonight. As always, you know, if you follow on Twitter, the Columbian 360 Preps does a great job of keeping the scores updated. I encourage you to do that. But like I said, we'll try to keep you updated as well.
First snap of the drive, it's a handoff. Endonino gives it off.
Took 3 Prairie tacklers take down Myron Lawrence there. We saw him last week rumbling for some big runs against Bay. He's an unusual player because he's listed as a running back / defensive lineman, which you don't see a lot of that combination.
Not a lot of familiar players that you know on the defensive line in the pro and college levels that you would assume would be ready to suit up as a running back as well. So
he's listed at 5'9", 235 pounds. So he's not an easy guy to bring down. And he's got some fancy footwork too. He's a fun player to watch for Fort.
Yeah, if you're tough to tackle, that's a skill. So that might be Myron Lawrence's asset there. And he gets the ball once again. He's pushing it straight into the heart of the defense.
And a good little push on the offensive line there to hold Prairie's line at bay to let him get around the end of the line there and make the linebackers tackle him and not the linemen. Picks up a few yards there.
So that'll set up a passing down now, 3rd and 7 for Fort Vancouver. We've seen them hand the ball off a couple times. We've seen them look to throw the ball outlets to the sides.
And it looks like Trevor Narvasa, last week's starter, a sophomore, is back in the game here as quarterback, replacing Indonino, the senior.
There's the pass, and the connection is made right there. It's going to be close.
I'm thinking he's about a yard shy. A nice ball there by Narvasa, just puts it up only where his receiver can get it. And it looks like Darius Shear there with the catch.
Confident throw from Narvasa, the sophomore. And so Fort Vancouver has it on 4th down and about a yard and a half to go.
And they're going for it. You know, for a team like Fort here, it's a makeable down. Mm-hmm. They're a little deep in their own territory, but they're already down 14-0 and being aggressive.
Opportunity to show that you have some trust and confidence and go for it. And Prairie is going to make it very challenging to get to the first down marker right there.
Based on where we see the official coming in here, I don't think they're going to get it. Yep. First down Prairie.
But you have to like the coach saying to his players, I believe in you. We can do this. And while it didn't quite get to the first down marker, it's that message of we're going to go for it. We're going to take chances. We're going to go for what we can.
We're not going to back down.
Prairie stepped up. Give them credit. They take over on downs now.
And if you need just a yard, Myron Lawrence is the guy to get it for you for Fort. So smart play calling.
So the pass from Reed on the first play of this 3rd drive, and it connects, and again a big chunk of yardage right there to number five for Prairie. That's Jake Bobst.
The 5'8" senior listed at 140 pounds.
Prairie's doing a great job of getting those yards after the catch. They're throwing the ball, in some cases, just right after the snap. But then those receivers are able to pick up chunks of yardage from there.
And we saw it the last drive, going short for a couple of plays and then looking for the long ball once the defense cues in a little.
This one's a handoff, and it's also a touchdown for number 32, Carson Slagle, senior.
Stiff-arming his way into the end zone there, taking tacklers with him.
A great run from Slagle. There were a couple moments you were wondering, is this going to be where the tackle comes? And he was able to just get through it each time.
Nice to score a touchdown in what could be your last football game, depending again on these playoff scenarios.
Score the touchdown and then immediately get on the line to block for this extra point, Slagle. Once again, a solid extra point.
So my favorite playoff scenario here, the three-way tie for a playoff to get into the playoff. We actually saw that last year between 3A teams, meeting here at Kiggins Bowl, I believe, doing a Kansas-style plan playoff where, last man standing makes the playoffs, everybody else goes home. Very exciting afternoon here, and, it makes such a difference for these players. You're playing for something.
Prairie making a statement in this first quarter saying that they think they're a playoff team. They'll of course need that help around the league, and we'll have those scores coming up later on as those games continue to progress. But for now, Prairie looking like they're going to hold up their end of the bargain to try to make that three-way tie a reality.
And it's going to be tough for them, even if they do get in the playoffs. There are 2-6 teams, so they've not had the success they want. So you get a win here, you build a little momentum, and you never know what happens once you get into the playoffs.
3 for 3 tonight so far on touchdowns on the drives. Fort Vancouver now with a chance to keep going on offense. That tackle is made at the 31-yard line.
That was Sean Minta on the return. He also had a big week last week. He's a baller. He knows how to return kicks. He knows how to make hits on defense. So he's a guy to watch tonight for Fort.
So Minta is a wide receiver, kick returner, also a defensive back. As you mentioned, when a team is moving fast like the Prairie offense has been so far in the first 7 minutes of the game, it'll be interesting to see how that affects the players for Fort Vancouver and their ability to just keep going play after play on offense and defense.
But, it's a team that I've seen a couple times this year, and they don't quit playing. So even though they may be a little tired, they don't stop.
And Narvasa here, the sophomore, again back to pass.
That's tough. That's tough to have that happen again and again as a quarterback, hitting the receiver in the hands, in stride, and just not able to pull that ball in. This time the junior wide receiver Nick Lorenzo unable to haul that puppy in. I'll tell you though, Narvasa put some heat behind it, so it's not as easy a catch as you might think.
So on 2nd and 10, we've got one in the backfield and 3 wide receivers spread out right. Once again, a passing opportunity, and it's going to skip bounce in front of the receiver. A little pressure coming from Prairie on that one.
Yeah, not a lot of time to make the throw there for Narvasa. We've seen Fort, at least last week you saw Fort a number of times get that pocket in motion. If your offensive line isn't able to hold the defensive bay, you move the pocket to the right with rollouts and waggles or what have you. And that's a smart way to buy your quarterback a little bit of time. It puts pressure on him to make a throw on the run, but he might have the extra 2-3 seconds that he needs to complete a pass.
And if you think that's part of your game plan, then that's an opportunity in practice to look for those scenarios where you can roll out. Another handoff to Lawrence here, but again, so many Prairie players right there.
Yes, see the hands, high tackle there, wrapping around the shoulder pads, dragging him to the turf. But it does take 2 or 3 of them to do it every time.
And it was good sportsmanship there by Prairie after that tackle. Extending good wishes. So third down, third and 10 on the 35. Oh, nope, check that 4th down.
Fair catch called for there. Another smart play by the receiver there, the returner. Bopes this time, feeling the heat and hauling that one in safely. So another good starting position here for Prairie.
Absolutely. I'm trying to remember if they had the ball on their side of the 40 yet tonight. I don't believe so.
Well, yeah, you're right, because the last one was about the 41 or 42 yard line.
And that helps a lot, obviously, when you're working with a field that's not 60 yards.
You know, while we have a minute, I want to do a good look there from our sideline camera, the Fort huddle. You know, we've got students on every position here tonight. We'll have a little more on that later in this game, but some great shots there from our sideline camera.
And that's Coach Broussard coming off the huddle.
And there's the Prairie huddle. You know, while we have a moment, though, I do want to take a moment to say thank you to the school district's warehouse team. We have a new setup this year, and our warehouse team has been delivering gear to our games and making our life easier. And I know it's a big pain in the neck for them to have to do that every single week. And I just wanted to say thank you to those guys for putting in the effort and making these broadcasts happen for all the people out there.
That's outstanding for them to help out.
Prairie coach is not seeing something they wanted there, changing the play up here, it looks like.
Prairie letting the clock run down now. Get the snap off. Connection. This time, Fort Vancouver wraps him up. That was Bopst once again for Prairie with the catch.
That slot receiver has been open all day for Prairie, so obviously they're identifying where Fort is pulling back there and smartly taking advantage.
Another quick outlet pass. And again, productive gain of yardage there, down to the 35-yard line. That's number 8 for Prairie, Taylor Lawhead.
A junior there.
So each time Prairie's getting lined up with a lot of time on the ball, and that gives them a chance to look over at the coach and get a dissection of the defensive coverage and then adjust the play.
And again, not letting Fort catch its breath too much here.
From first down, here's a pass downfield, connection. Another big play from Prairie. It's a 29-yard pickup. Logan Reed hitting Lawhead, it looks like, once again.
A bullet from Reed there, showing the gun.
And for the 4th time in this first quarter, Prairie has advanced the ball into the scoring position. It's first and goal here from the 6-yard line. This is a pitch out. And a shaken tackle, and that's Aaron Brumley for his second score of the night for Brumley.
Yeah, they had Brumley in the backfield there with their senior Slagle. Two tough guys to bring down. You can't really fixate on one of them because both of them have shown the ability to hurt you tonight.
So, Nick, talk a little bit about how these two teams are rivals playing on the last game of the year. Is Prairie and the Fort Vancouver team, is that a traditional rivalry to be playing on this last night, or is that just the way the schedule worked out this year?
It's pretty much just the way the schedule worked out. I know for Fort Vancouver, their traditional hey, he hit the scoreboard with the kick. That's a digression, but for Fort Vancouver, their traditional rival is Hudson's Bay High School, and they had their annual rivalry game last week, the Peace Pipe game. Oftentimes, though, that is the final game of the year, and I'm not sure why it shook out this year that it wasn't, but they love playing each other. They actually came from the same high school. So the old Vancouver High School back in, I believe, 1956, I think it was 56, somewhere around there, it split into two schools, Hudson's Bay and Fort. And ever since, they love playing each other. It's usually a really entertaining game. Last week was the most lopsided game in rivalry history. Hudson's Bay won, I believe, 54-0. But traditionally, it's anyone's game. So it was pretty fun series for us to cover every year. Prairie, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure who their rivals are, but we can find that out.
Well, you were right about the extra point hitting the scoreboard. I don't believe they gave them a second extra point for that. It was still just one, but it was fun to see.
It should be a 2-point conversion if you hit the scoreboard. So Taylor Lawhead we saw as a receiver, also the kicker here. Minta on the return.
Oh, and he's got a lane if he can shake. Nice return from Minta right there. He had a pathway and he made it all the way out to the 36.
A little cleat failure there, trying to cut back, but his momentum was going one way, his body was going the other way. Great return though. You can see he's got a quick burst. We've seen that a couple times from him on these kick returns. Minta, if they could get him in the flat as a receiver, you can see how he can cause some problems. It's just a matter of actually, being able to get him the ball in that position.
Absolutely. Top 2 plays of the first quarter so far for Fort Vancouver are the kick returns by Minta, advancing the ball close to the 35-yard line and right around there for his first down. This pass is caught, and the spin nets another yard or two. So Narvasa hooks up with...
That was Runkle, I believe. Yeah, Tyler Runkle, the senior. We saw him make big plays last week. Another good play this time. And it makes it so much easier when Fort's able to complete a pass like that on first down, because now what do they have? Second and short. It just makes life easier.
Absolutely. The number of options there for the team to pick up the first down now with a 2nd and 4.
And Fort giving out a little bit of Prairie's own medicine there, hitting the slot receiver.
Here's the pass, just short.
Probably best for Fort that one ended up in the dirt. Not a lot of daylight there. A good defensive play by that Prairie defensive back.
Now you pointed out the effectiveness of Minta on the return. I'm looking to see where he is right now on the field.
That's a good call. I don't see him out there. He may be on the sideline.
So third and a 3-yard pickup needed, and nope. Defense comes up for Prairie and stops the run.
I don't know. He might have pushed his way forward on that one. Awfully close.
He got a little bit late.
They let the pile develop. They didn't blow it dead right away on his initial momentum. It looks like he did come up about a yard short.
Nice job with Lawrence, as you mentioned, not giving up, not letting that play end. And once again, Fort Vancouver is going to go for it on 4th and short.
Wouldn't be surprised to see another swing pass out to the flat here, but nope, to Lawrence.
Hand off to Lawrence, and this time they get him in the backfield before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. So Prairie will take over on downs, as once again Fort Vancouver demonstrating a willingness to go for it on 4th down.
And it is a strategy that makes sense, because if they're unable to stop Prairie as they've been so far, why not get one more play on offense? Because the punt is, just giving it right back anyway.
Well, and if the score right now at 28-0 here in the first quarter is what it is, you're looking for game opportunities, game experience, high-pressure moments like a 4th down play in which your team can learn and build from that and carry that forward into next year.
Absolutely, and every single run that Myron Lawrence as a junior gets is experience for him to take, like you said, take into next year as a senior running back to try to improve his play.
So Prairie once again starts inside Fort Vancouver territory, and this time Reed will keep it himself. He'll pick up about 8 yards. Down to the 40, they'll spot it at the 42-yard line. And this Prairie offense is looking very efficient so far. They've been able to push the ball as they wish.
Oh, that's trouble.
That snap sails over the head of Reed, and he's able to fall down onto it, but it's going to send the ball back all the way to the 43-yard line for Prairie. The first time they've been in there their own territory this deep in the down count, I guess.
Yeah,
third down.
Loss of 16, I believe, there.
16 yards. So they'll need to get to the 39-yard line of Fort Vancouver. So they need to pick up on this play. That's 18 yards, 3rd and 18.
See if Reed lets it loose here.
Check that 34-yard line. So attack another 5 on that. It's 3rd and 23.
Well, at the end of the first quarter, I think Prairie got everything it wanted out of this quarter, up 28-0.
Yeah, for Prairie, a very well-executed quarter, minus that one play we just saw. But they have to be very happy with their opportunity tonight to make this a playoff race for that final spot.
Yeah, and if they are able to get into that playoff, they've got a good warm-up here to get there. And hey, you know what? We've got a quarter break while we have a moment. We want to let you know about a new state law that allows some students to graduate high school even if they're no longer enrolled. So if you are this person or if you know someone, pay attention. Here's how it works. If you meet the following criteria, you may be eligible. 1, you had to have started 9th grade between 2010 and 2013. You've had to have met all graduation requirements except for passing a state test in math or language arts, and you took a state test at least once in high school but didn't pass. And if this sounds like you can apply for a waiver by supplying proof in one of the following areas you see on your screen. You've completed a college level class, you've been admitted to a higher education institution or career prep program, you've enlisted the military, you've been given a scholarship, or you have other evidence linked to your personal goals. So there's a lot of opportunities here, and we all know it's tough to get very far in your career without a high school diploma. So, you know, I encourage students, if they're in this boat, take a look. This might be an opportunity.
So the team switched sides, and Prairie picks up a big chunk yardage here, but not enough to get to the first down marker. And that will set up their first 4th down, and they'll have a decision to make about whether to punt the ball or go for it here on 4th and 10.
And looks like they are going to go for it, unless we see some sort of quick kick, but I doubt that's coming.
So pressure moment for both teams. Pass is going to sail over the head of Bobst, and that will be Fort Vancouver's taking over the ball on downs.
Yeah, good defensive sequence for the Trappers there. They forced the stop and take over.
So for the Fort Vancouver defense, that's the first time they were able to get the Prairie team off the field without giving up any points.
And they're hoping now to take that momentum and turn it into some points of their own. Fort, a lot of trouble scoring this year. They have, I believe, only 4 touchdowns on the year. So hoping to, you know, pick up 5th, 6th, 7th touchdowns if possible.
If they're going to score here in the first half, this is their best opportunity yet, their best field position, starting off on the 43-yard line.
So 3 receivers out wide to the right. Lawrence back there in the backfield again.
Pass play for Narvasa. He's going to scramble and just get rid of the ball. Found a receiver, but would not have been much of a gain on that play. So 2nd down and 10 now.
Yeah, Darius Shear, the intended target. His momentum pulling him back towards the line of scrimmage. He might have ended up even losing yards on that. So for Fort, probably not the worst idea. But I got to say, it was a pretty good spot there by Narvasa to find the guy coming back to the ball.
Yeah, he showed the ability to get out of the pocket, get away from the defense enough to at least get rid of it and not take the loss on the sack. Here's another shot downfield from the team. Oh, that's going to be a wonderful interception over the Willie Mays style by number 4 for Prairie. That's Isaiah Ward, who takes it back down to the 39-yard line or 40-yard line for Prairie.
Yeah, Narvasa showing some arm there, but put it up for grabs and found white instead of red.
He barely eluded the rush on that play, but that throw was high, and the catch from Ward was actually quite impressive to see him be able to reel that in as he's looking over his shoulder.
And now you know, get a little bit of coaching on the sidelines there on the Fort sideline, talking about the decision to heave that one downfield. Narvasa getting some instruction there.
Coaching from an NFL experienced gentleman there in Coach Broussard.
You got to take that sort of advice pretty seriously if you're a high school student.
Handoff now for Prairie. And that'll pick up about 12 yards for number 32. That's Carson Slagle, the senior.
Slagle reminds me a lot of Toby Gerhardt. Remember him from Stanford from a couple of years ago, played in the NFL for the Vikings. You know, big guy, kind of compact, runs straight ahead, finds that hole and hits it hard, and he's tough to bring down. He's listed at 205, so no picnic to bring down.
Speed and power. Reed going for the end zone.
Did he catch that?
And it's caught for the touchdown. The ref signaled touchdown. And like Ward, that was an amazing catch.
Great awareness of knowing where the pylon is, keeping his feet in. 2 Trapper defenders there closing, so not an easy catch there.
Was that number 22 as the players on the sidelines are congratulating number 22, A.J. Dixon.
We have a replay here. Oh, we had a replay for a moment there. Our crew working behind the scenes here tonight to try to bring us some replays. A little short staff tonight.
No scoreboard on this end for Lawhead to hit, so I don't have to aim for the soccer goalpost.
Looks like some confusion there on the snap.
So Prairie will move a step or two closer for this extra point attempt. Allhead connects on that one.
All right, so we're told we're going to have a replay here of that incredible touchdown pass. Let's see.
I'm going to watch this.
Oh, perhaps. Well, we'll bring it to you when we have it.
Yeah, it was tough to tell if he was able to come down with the ball in that corner of the end zone, and then there was the signal from the refs. This is how we knew.
When you're in the stands here at Kiggins, or from our vantage in the press box, that is about as far away as you can get from where we are. So it was tough to see.
Yeah, and he came down with his back to us here in the stands, so we didn't know if he was able to hold on to it either.
Of course, in high school, no instant replay for the officials, and you don't have to have 2 feet in bounds to make a catch. So, you know, he smartly used his body, kept himself in bounds. I don't know if we had 2 feet or 1, but a heck of a catch, and we'll try to bring that replay to you if we're able to get it up.
And it strikes me because that's 2 plays, one on defense and then one on offense, that both catches, one in the interception, the other on the touchdown, where you're looking over your shoulder and able to haul it in.
And with somewhat impaired vision because of your helmet.
Well, Minta again on the return. And he goes very strong into the defense of Prairie.
Yeah, Minta's not afraid of contact on offense or defense. Hit the hold there, a good block from his teammate there to open up that extra 5 or 6 yards he needed.
This time Minta, the senior, will stay on the field for the offensive play. I noticed the enthusiasm has not diminished on the Fort Vancouver side. A lot of cheer and a lot of school spirit downstairs with the band and with the cheerleaders. There's a handoff. Getting back to the line of scrimmage on the first down.
The music program at Fort Vancouver, like across Vancouver Public Schools, pretty strong. The district supports the arts, so arts education is funded. There's teachers. It's not an extracurricular. It's a class kids can take, and they take it seriously and get into it. It's kind of fun. It makes high school, you know, the high school experience at sporting events fun.
Yeah, and they know the guys out there on the field are trying hard. They're having fun on the sidelines, watching the game. Another pass play. Trying to connect with Darius Shear there.
Just off his fingertips. Looks like we'll have possibly a change at the quarterback position. Nope, Narvasa coming back in. Just coming to the sideline to get a little bit of coaching, as you can see right there. Nice shot from our student camera on the sideline there.
So the plays here always relayed from sideline with signals or verbal discussion. Have you seen any teams that use any kind of flip cards like Oregon?
I have not seen that. You do see that all over college football now. I have not seen that this year in high school. But that's not to say it doesn't happen.
Incomplete on third down.
You know, we haven't seen happen a lot tonight. Flags. We haven't seen very many flags at all. Pretty clean game.
Absolutely.
Now that I've said that, of course, it's going to be classic jinx, but...
So it looks like Fort Vancouver will punt this one. Shear back in the backfield to take that. And for Prairie, Isaiah Ward lines up to receive. Line drive kick right at Ward into his chest, and he's got momentum. He's tackled at the 50-yard line.
Pretty good coverage from Fort there to get down and tackle the returner. It's tough sometimes on those low line drive kicks because you don't have an opportunity to get all the way down. But on the same token, Prairie not having much of an opportunity to set up its blocking. So a nice tackle there in midfield for the Trappers.
So at this point, Prairie up 35-0 here in the second quarter as you see the team huddling. What do you think their goals are here as they move forward into the second quarter? I'm imagining it's avoiding injury and it's working on execution and just making sure that if they're going to move forward into the playoffs, they're continuing to do the plays designed exactly as they're supposed to.
I would imagine, too, that this is going to be the last quarter for the starting unit if the score continues to go in this direction. So, yeah, they're going to try to get as much out of this as possible, especially those seniors who, again, might be done after tonight.
They're not guaranteed another game, so this could be their final, as you mentioned, not only the final game, this could be their final series right here if in fact, this is the point at which Prairie decides to start subbing in some of the younger players. So it could be this quarter, it could be this series, but you're right, there's memories being made on the field right now for both sides.
The clock is ticking.
Here's a reverse and a flag thrown on that, but that reverse with Ward, or I should say that sweep from Ward coming from the right side around to the left at the wide receiver spot, that was very effective. We'll have to see what the refs call on this play.
I'll take credit for that flag being thrown there.
You did somewhat say no flags thrown.
You can see the replay here. He's coming around the end. I see if we can spot the penalty. Didn't see it there, but a nice replay from our crew hustling to get us some replays tonight.
And it's going back.
Short-handed in the control room, but still making it happen for us. So great job, guys.
Very valuable there in the control room. And it looks like this ball is moving backwards. So from the spot of the foul, it looks like is where that penalty is being enforced.
And the official signaling a hold there on Prairie. So basically they're starting in the same place they did the previous play.
So from midfield, second down for Prairie. 2nd and 10 once again. As Reed gets the signal from the Prairie sideline. And in space, Ward with the cutback able to get down the sideline. He'll run out of bounds right around the 22-yard line. So 28-yard pickup, nice play.
Another great move. We've seen a lot of that out of Ward today. Deking the defender into going one direction, then cutting the other to free up those extra yards.
And just letting the players get the ball in space, see what they can do with their athleticism, and it's paying dividends.
Just football at its simplest.
Handoff up the middle. Brumley flips over the tackler, and it's inside the 10-yard line for yet another 1st and goal for Prairie.
Looks like we got a replay coming up here of that big run from Brumley and the big flip. I'm sure his mother is not enjoying seeing that, but Prairie enjoying the pickup.
He's right back up in the backfield, and
that's why they wear helmets.
He's blocking on this play as Reed looks for the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown. That's Zeke Dixon.
Heard his name a couple times tonight.
So there's an A.J. Dixon and there's a Zeke Dixon. And there's the throw. He backs it behind the goal line. So there they are, Dixon and Dixon, congratulating each other. A.J. and Zeke, both sophomores. point is good.
42-0 Prairie.
Still not quite halfway through the second quarter. But for Fort Vancouver, the goal remains score. Keep going. Keep playing. It's as though it's 0-0 right now. Their goal remains get into the end zone. Do everything you can to put yourself in a position to put points on the board.
In a way, it's almost freeing when the score's out of hand like this and you know that victory is unlikely. It's freeing in a way because the goal's not the same anymore. Like you said, it's to move the ball, to execute what you want to do, make some positive yards, and improve.
And this is where the coaching of Coach Broussard will be particularly effective, is in giving them that goal, setting for them that sense of purpose in the next 2.5 quarters.
Absolutely. The team first thing, you know. We're going to succeed as a team, we're going to fail as a team, but even if we fail as a team, we have each other as a team.
Looks like Minta again will get it. Goes head first into the defense and tackled once again, 33-yard line.
So Fort special teams having a really good night. Getting them in position to start their drives, reasonable field position. Just a matter of the offense getting something going here to take advantage. So we've got an update on one of the big games here tonight. Over there in Kelso, Hudson's Bay versus Kelso. Kelso up 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. So a tight game over there. Again, Kelso wins that game. They take second place in the league. And then the third position is wide open. Bay, if they win that game, they're more or less in the playoffs. So we'll try to keep you updated on that.
And so if you're a Prairie fan tonight, you're rooting for Kelso to prevail in that one. First down pass. Almost intercepted by Ward once again.
And the other big game, of course, across our area, Camas versus Union. Camas, the #1 team in the state. Union, the #5 team in the state. Camas up 13-0 in the second quarter. Union last week, if you're a fan of VPS Game Time broadcast, you saw us last week against Skyview. Union blowing out the Storm of Skyview, which you don't see very often. So a very good Union football team. Both of those teams looking to do serious damage in the playoffs. Only 2 4A teams make the playoffs from our league, so.
Second down, Narvasa connects. Pickup of 7 yards there.
You know, I'm not sure that Darius Shear appreciated the official blowing that play dead. He was about to break that tackle.
So 3 yards to go here on third down. And the way Fort Vancouver has been playing it, it looks like they'll have at least 2 downs to try to make this their first down of the game.
But it's manageable. It's 4 yards. And they found some success with those short swing passes.
Again, a passing play, and it's another connection. This time it looks like he got enough for the first down, depending on the spot.
See what the official, yep, looks like a first down, moving the chains. So a first goal achieved here by Fort, get their first down.
There you go. So that's something to build on, and the Fort Vancouver crowd here, they're appreciative of the team for making it that.
Just 6 yards away here from crossing the half field line as well.
They sense the progress there and at least saying, you know what, now we're moving the ball. We get another set of downs here. So that was two passing completions in a row for Narvasa, and again, quick outlet passes. This time he's looking for a little bit more. Nobody in that area, though.
Looked like a little confusion. He was expecting the out, and the receiver ran the in.
So another game we'll be watching out for tonight is the Mountain View and Evergreen game, which also has implications with Prairie. So as we get scores on all of those games updated, we'll be passing those along with you.
You know, I believe earlier I incorrectly said that game was tonight. I actually think that game is tomorrow.
Oh.
So I think all of the teams in our area are going to be watching that one. That's my mistake. Second
down handoff, and there's room to run.
Quick cut there. Great decision. Taking it inside, had the opportunity to bounce outside. Defenders there, cuts inside, picks up a quick 5 yards.
And that's one for the offensive line to feel good on for getting the separation there that enabled that run.
And with some big kids up front too, so you know, one of their primary offensive players, Nehemiah Polk-Rashid, injured last week, a 220-pound tight end. The loss of him really affects the run game.
3rd and 5 now here on the 49-yard line. Pass from Narvasa. Once again in between receivers, so they'll have 4th and 5 here, and we'll see what they decide. It looks like they're going to go for it. We have not seen the punter for Fort Vancouver tonight, have we?
I don't believe so. No, we did. We did on the first series. They punted deep from their own end zone.
That's right. That's right. All right, so a makeable 4th down now. But Prairie is bringing the pressure, and there's the throw from Narvasa. It's right into the hands of Dixon, who's off to the races, and he's not going to be stopped. 10-5, touchdown. That's A.J. Dixon with a pick 6.
Showing a burst through. Good recovery by Fort. Almost getting down there to make the tackle. You'll see here in this replay about to come up, you'll see a good effort, but Narvasa had an open man, just threw it a little long.
Dixon came off with a full head of steam as on the run back.
Yeah, you can see right here, almost with the tackle, but Dixon just too fast.
Yeah, great effort there. That looked like it was number 81, Tyler Runkle, trying to get him at the 1. Almost did it. Another extra point, good.
Taylor Lawhead, the kicker, getting plenty of practice here tonight.
Well, Fort Vancouver will get some more experience on offense here as a result of that play.
Fun night of football in La Crosse area. You know, the last night of football for high schools and kids, and few things, you know, signify the importance of high school or the beauty of high school and high school football games. And you can see the cheerleaders there having a fun time and representing their school. Again, one of those symbols of high school that, you know, us older folks remember as, you know, a little bit of nostalgia there. Cheerleaders and the band and
much different outlook on it now as an adult than as a student when it was your peers. Now you just see the community pride. You see how special it is. It was fun then. Now you just see how it's the entire community supporting a program, not just the students.
Absolutely. Fun for the parents to come out here and see their kids play. And Fort alumni, pretty strong alumni group coming out to support the next generation.
Here's the return. This time it's not Minta.
It's like Runkle again, perhaps. Yeah, Runkle on the carry there. So two skilled returners there. You know, Minta and Runkle both know how to advance that ball and find the right hole, and not afraid of contact.
That's their favorite spot. Just about every kick return has been back to the 33, the 34-yard line, maybe the 35-yard line. Everything right in there. So.
All right, see what Fort can do here. Looks like Devin Turner, a new quarterback, number 16, comes in there.
Turner is a freshman. So you talk about building blocks for the future. Freshman quarterback in now for Fort Vancouver. His first play, it's downfield. He's got him in. Oh!
That's hard break.
Had an opportunity. The wideout even slid into the ball, but just couldn't quite make that catch. And there is a flag on the field against Fort. Oh, no, ref's now reversing, saying it's against Prairie.
It's in the area of a hold or a roughing the passer. It turned out to be a roughing the passer call. So not a total loss here for Fort. That felt like it could have been 6 if the passage in just a little closer to the sideline there. But of course, if he's getting, pressure, it's tough to get that pass off.
Turner gets rid of the ball in the face of the defense coming on strong, absorbs the contact, and now the ball will move 15 yards downfield, all the way just shy of midfield for Fort Vancouver. So now they get first down there. Turner with a handoff there and a pick up and darn near horse collar tackle there.
And the flag does go up, so I think that is going to be the call. The senior Runkle on the carry. Again, another tough run by Runkle. Not afraid to fly into the teeth of the defense. Looks like a face mask call. So Prairie doing Fort a couple of favors here.
Another 15. Oh. Looks like they're only traveling 5 yards on that.
An incidental face mask, perhaps. Still a first down for Fort Vancouver.
Yeah, this is their strongest opportunity yet to score with the ball now on the 38-yard line.
5.5 minutes left here. Plenty of time to run the offense. No need to panic.
So their scoreless streak dates back at least the last 2 games where they did not get on the board. So they've got to be looking at this opportunity as the throw goes downfield, a little ahead of the receiver on that one.
But Fort is running a reasonably complicated offense. That spread is not easy to run. There's a lot of reads for the quarterback. There's a lot of variables. Sometimes high school teams, when they're not skilled offensively, will run very simple sets, run straight forward. Fort definitely trying to run a more complex offense, something that's going to be harder for the defense to diagnose every play in advance. So it takes a lot of practice for these guys. It shows that they've been putting that work in.
This is a program that's going to build itself in the future, and one way you do that is to get young talent, some experience, and that's what they're doing right now.
And when it comes to numbers, which again is a problem for Fort, having a former NFL player as your head coach, the ability to talk to kids and get them excited to come play, that's going to help down the line here. And
yeah, the one thing that Fort Vancouver can offer, even the youngest of players, seemingly, is playing time. You get an opportunity to suit up, and you have a really good shot at getting in the game. That pass, not quite there, and that'll be 4th down now.
Yeah, he had him open there. That was intended for, looks like Ezekiel Block, the big tight end, defensive end. I might be wrong about that. I can't quite see his number from here. Might have been Isaac Martinez. No, that was Block.
So whether it's 4th and 1, 4th and 3, or 4th and 13, Fort Kent Vancouver is committed to going for it here tonight. Have to figure this will be in the air. The snap is mishandled. Turner gets it for a second, had an opportunity, but he's coming down there at the 42-yard line.
Yeah, 5 Falcons in the air. He was going nowhere. A tough way to end that series for Fort Vancouver. Had some momentum going forward, and then an error. And you'll see here after the fumbled snap, trying to make something out of it, but there's too much white there.
Did his best to get away, but just didn't have enough time to get a good look.
From our vantage point here in the press box, we can see the grill down there, the grill master making hot dogs. I can smell it too.
Smells great.
I should have eaten before this game. Halftime's coming up though.
Say that again. So Prairie takes over in Fort Vancouver territory. It'll be another handoff on the opening play of this drive. That's 32. That's Carson Slagle with the run. That's right around the first down marker.
Slagle showing he's pretty tough to bring down. No arm tackles won't suffice.
And it is indeed a first down for Prairie. So Fort Vancouver, with 4 minutes left in this second quarter, has a chance to put up a defensive front here. Handoff, though, again, that's Slagle, and he's cutting all the way outside to the right for another big pickup.
Good blocking downfield to set that up. So Prairie keeping it simple, just daring Fort Vancouver to stop them, and they've had a hard time doing it.
Looks like now Prairie is looking to slow it down a little bit here on the play clock. Letting a little time run out as we have 3:40 left in the second quarter. They are close to scoring.
Looks like a false start there. Oh. Saw the center sort of flinch there before the snap.
Well, they've been picking up big yardage tonight, but this will put a different wrinkle into their scheming for first down now that they have 1st and 15.
Brumley in the backfield now. Should be seeing him get the ball at him.
Wide receiver in motion. Reed with the snap, and he'll keep it himself up the middle. And he's got, he get an ankle tackle right there by.
Looks like Joseph Indonino, the senior, with the tackle on that play.
So Indonino saves the touchdown, but Prairie still 3 minutes to go before halftime, and now it's 1st and goal.
Yeah, Reed showing some wheels there. You don't often see quarterbacks scamper through a hole like that, and that's the first time I think we've seen him run tonight.
They must have saw something that they knew that play would work. Interesting to note, too, how most of the team is looking over at the coaching staff for the play instructions on Prairie, whereas when Fort Vancouver, that play is relayed in from the quarterback. So with Prairie, the wideouts, the running backs, they're all looking at the same time as the quarterback on the play, and then the quarterback shares it with the offensive line.
Well, if you want to move fast and Prairie wants to move fast, you know, you've got to get that information in quick, and it's a lot more quick to do it all at once.
False start moves the ball back to the 11-yard line here on 1st and goal. Handoff to Brumley, and he pushes himself into the end zone for yet another touchdown for the senior Aaron Brumley. I believe that's his 3rd touchdown tonight.
Prairie enjoying that touchdown. Looks like we've got a replay for you here. Brumley's just tough to tackle. You know, he lowers his head and pushes, and you know, when the offensive player is moving with momentum, the defensive player is back on his heels a little bit. It's tough to bring a player like that down.
Well, you made that comparison earlier of Toby Gearhart, formerly of Stanford and the Minnesota Vikings, and that play showed why your comparison was appropriate and how he pushed himself just using his strength to get through.
So 56-0 Prairie.
So Prairie will be putting themselves in position for that 3-way tie tonight. They still need help, though. They need help from Kelso to win. They will need help tomorrow from Mountain View.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. You know, in my heart, well, I work for Vancouver Public Schools, so you know, I'll just say it out loud. I want Hudson's Bay to make the playoffs, but in my inner heart, I kind of want to see that 3-way playoff. I just think it's fun, and the stakes are high, and everyone knows it's important. You see good football. I think that could be a lot of fun to watch. And usually they do that on a Monday, so it might be as soon as just a few days from now when they decide to do that.
So Hudson's Bay and Kelso, that contest was close last we checked on the score. We'll have an update for you probably coming up at halftime.
Yeah, Hudson's Bay, a really tough offensive team, a lot of weapons, so see if they can compete with Kelso up there. It's a tough place to play against the Highlanders in Kelso.
Another return from Vancouver making it right around the 30-yard line, not quite past it. So they'll have 2 minutes and 23 seconds here in the second quarter before halftime to try to advance the ball into scoring position. As you said earlier, there's a little sense of freedom with a score what it is right now at 56-0, that Fort Vancouver, they can take some shots if they choose to.
We do have an update on that Kelso Hudson's Bay game. Kelso up 13-3 at the half. So Kelso trying to do what it needs to do to secure that number 2 spot.
10-point game, Hudson's Bay and Kelso. Kelso with that lead, but Hudson's Bay with a halftime opportunity to figure out a strategy. There's a deep throw to Mintot, and that's a connection made and a great catch. So Sean Mintup comes up big with that haul, and that moves the ball all the way down to the 38-yard line. Great throw.
So 3 things had to happen here. Watch first the block right there. A perfect throw and great hands from Minta. So 3 things had to go right there for Fort, and all 3 things did, and that's a big play. Biggest play of the game for Fort so far.
Turner showing he has quite the arm there as the freshman. Fort Vancouver now has the ball just 38 yards away from the end zone with just over 2 minutes to go. Another pass play is complete, and that'll be close to another first down. We'll see where they spot it. Looks like they'll put it at the 30-yard line, so a short second down.
Ezekiel Block, the senior tight end there with a big catch and run. So Fort really, we saw earlier taking those out passes, those short passes, hoping for big runs. Now looking a little more downfield.
Turner was frustrated on that last series when it ended with that snap. You could see the frustration in his reaction after being hit for the loss. He's shown that he's focused on this series with the first 2 plays being nice connections. That pass sails high off some fingertips, and fortunately not intercepted on that one.
Yeah, Turner slapping his chest as if to say, my bad, because he had an open man and block. He had a good 5-6 yard opportunity there, but unable to put it into his chest.
Looks like Fort Vancouver has called a timeout here to go over its strategy now with the ball on the 30, 3rd down and 2 to go. And this is where they want everybody really focused on this opportunity. 30-yard line, 2 minutes left in the second quarter. You can see the end zone. They just picked up that big yardage on that opening play of this drive.
It's a learning moment for that team, because when you are down this big, the pressure's gone in a good way, but it's also gone in a bad way, because there's no pressure on you to succeed, because if you don't score, you haven't scored yet. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have these kinds of moments where they need to perform.
And they're still facing the first team defense for Prairie. So they are earning this in the last minute or so with these big plays. And they have about 2 minutes left to show if they can get into the end zone for the first time tonight. Big pass play down to Mintot, just short. Turner was looking for another big pickup. He takes a hit on that play, but they will have another opportunity here on 4th and 2.
And he just underthrew that. Minta had a step on the defensive back, but the ball was about 2 feet shorter than it needed to be for Minta to be able to catch that ball.
Oh, I can smell those hot dogs now even more. Ooh, they smell good.
Yeah, support the Booster Club. Gotta buy a hot dog.
All right, here we go on 4th and 2. See if Fort Vancouver can convert. The throw up in the air, and it's tipped by Dixon on defense, and it's
turnover on downs there. Yeah.
That's on 4th down. It'll be Prairie ball.
The good push up front by the Prairie defensive line. It was going to be a tough throw for Turner no matter what. He didn't quite have time to set his feet and put that ball where he wanted it. He had an open man.
What you like to see, though, is them taking some shots. Looking to execute on plays, looking downfield, seeing what they can go and going for it. It's fun to see. Just as a fan standpoint, it's fun to see a team and an offense come out and try to move the ball downfield, go for the passing plays that are more than a yard or 2.
Absolutely, yeah. And, you're not going to get them all, but, as we saw, you're going to get some of them.
So Prairie, Logan Reed behind, hands it off again. It's Slagle. He makes his way to the 42.
Looks like we have an injured Trapper on the field there. It's number 6, McWayne Rydap.
He's up and looks like he's walking very gingerly as he gets off field.
Darius Jackson, the senior, 6'6" senior, coming in.
Jackson, 6'6", 315. He plays defensive line for Fort Vancouver. So with a minute and a half left here in the second quarter, Prairie not trying to run the 2-minute offense with the score 56-0. They'll hand it off. Slagle picks up another first down to the 44-yard line. And we'll have to see here with a minute 13 how Prairie handles this, whether they try to air it out or try to continue to run it on the ground.
I mean, I would imagine at this point, staying on the ground, working that play clock down. Prairie, of course, no interest in, embarrassing the Trappers.
Absolutely, good sportsmanship. At the same time, as we've talked about it before, this could be the final series for some of these Prairie players, for some of the seniors, like Jacob and Aaron Brumley, who's in the backfield right now.
Well, it's a fine line to ride because, you don't want to embarrass the team, but you also don't want to tell your players to hold back too much because they still have to play the game. And
there's your answer from Logan Reed with kneel down, showing that they're conscious of where the score is right now at 56-0, and that as they start to progress into the Fort Vancouver side of the field, they're not going to try and score.
And so, we're almost at halftime here. You know what? At halftime, we've got a treat for you here. Our VPS Game Time crew is going to bring you live coverage, courtesy of the Evergreen Public Schools team, of the Mountain View Evergreen game, which I apparently have no idea when this game is. It's going on right now. We're going to bring you live cut-in of that so you can see some of that important game over at Mackenzie Stadium tonight, and that'll be coming up at halftime.
Which has playoff implications for Hudson's Bay, for Prairie tonight, and of course for the teams playing in the game in Evergreen.
So that'll be fun for us to watch here. So 56-0 at halftime.
56-0. Both teams will get a chance to take a break, talk it out. For Prairie, we'll see if we see a new set of players. For Fort Vancouver, we know they're still going to scrap.
Yeah, and I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of Prairie's future. So that'll be kind of fun to see and let those players get some of the limelight here at Kiggins in the lights.
Clock continuing to move, just now under 8 minutes left to play in the first half. Mountain View's up 20-3. Trips receivers on the far side. Hall and Jordan Cooks come into the game to play the receivers out there. Anderson lined up out there on the numbers. Mountain View is going to call a timeout on this, so we're going to go ahead and take that timeout with him. This is the EPS Sports Network and Eli Sports. Ron, Dan, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back here at McKenzie Stadium. Eli Sports Network, EPS Sports, joining us on channel 328 cable. We're live HD, first time this year. Excited, super excited about that. Perry now lines him up, empty backfield, trips to the far side. Mertens in the wing. Perry drops back, looking for a man across the middle, has him open. Just a little too high for Terrell Hall to bring that ball down. But he was open across the middle, and that will turn the ball over. And for the first time in the game, Mountain View did not score on one of their series. They will turn that ball over on downs. Mountain View, defense on the field. Evergreens now, 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line.
Evergreen can make some hay here, Jed, if they can get a touchdown, cut this lead in half to 20-10.
They sure can.
But need to be a little more methodical, mix in the run. We've got 7.5 minutes to go here until the half.
All right, so Blaze in the game, gets that ball out there. And this time it's a no-go. And they're going to lose a lot of yardage on that play.
Well, that's going to cost them roughly 12 yards, well, somewhere 11 yards. So an 11-yard loss on the quick hitch thrown out by Blaze to the left-hand side. Looked like they were maybe attempting a double pass. Nothing there. Great job by 20 from Mountain View. Getting upfield, Peyton Regas to break that up.
Yeah, it sure was. Griffin missed his block on that one big time. They kind of tried to snake the other quarterback, Finch, out there on that slot. Blaze now. Finch goes into motion. They're going to fake it to Finch. Blaze is going to take the ball himself. This time he throws that one away. So it seems at this point the only thing that Ryan Blaze is being used for is the short throw, very short passes and screens. Last series he threw some stick routes, kind of 3-and-outs and 5-and-outs. In these last two plays here, they've been screen passes. So See if we're going to let this young man throw the ball down the field. I know he has the arm strength to get it down 40, 50 yards down the field. And he's a big man, so he's not going to be easy to pull down. We'll see what they got going on this time. He's got slot receivers. Drops back. He is looking downfield, lets that ball go. Griffin open and catches it. Beautifully thrown pass on his back shoulder.
Completes that on Regis, number 20.
He's going to go out of bounds right there at the 50, so, well, I sound like a genius right now, don't I?
Well, he has a big arm. You can tell he's inexperienced.
Yeah.
Probably has a few jitters out there. Hasn't been playing much this year.
Very good, very good.
This is what they see in him that made them want to go ahead and make the switch here to see if he could spark the offense.
And he did. And I don't know if that was luck or that's what he was trying to do, but perfectly thrown pass to the back shoulder to keep the ball only in a position where Griffin was going to be able to bring that in. Finch is in the game. Griffin looked like Blaze was going to come out, but it looks like Finch is just in there playing a different position right now.
What Blaze will experience is that it's a long way to the sideline to get that play. So if you haven't been playing all year, you might not be used to that.
Blaze gets him to the line of scrimmage. He's got slot receivers on either side. He's going to drop back again, looking for a man downfield. He's got Griffin this time. Pretty much the same type pass. I don't think Griffin was quite ready for it. It's a shame because he was open.
Right to his left.
Yeah. All you got to do is turn around and catch that one once again.
Right. Don't know if he expected the football, but I tell you what, it's thrown to the outside shoulder where only he could get to it, and he wasn't really looking back for the football.
No, he wasn't. He was not. Sure, whoever the offensive coach is in the booth up here beside us is saying there's something there. Going to come out down trips this time at the bottom of the screen. Blaze is the quarterback. He's going to hand this off to Heathman right up the gut. Heathman's going to get across midfield and then gang tackled after that. In fact, they will give him to the 49-yard line, so he does break into Mountain View territory. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 9.
So Fitch is in the football game.
He is. They got him playing slot receiver right now. So the receiving core is made up now of Burns, Griffin, Allen, and Finch. Blaze drops back again. Steps up in the pocket. This time he's going to go ahead and take off himself. Going to make it down across the 45-yard line. They'll give him to the 45. It's a 4th down situation.
Nice open field tackle there by Mitchell Delmage.
And they are going to bring in special teams to kick this ball away. Give Mountain View a lot of field to deal with. We've got 5:02 left to play in the first half. Mountain View up by 17.
Evergreen might want to be, or Mountain View might want to be on their toes here.
Finch, the quarterback, and taking on kicking responsibilities. It's going to take a great bounce there. Don't let it get inside. And
it's a touchback.
He does let the ball get inside the 20. He lets the ball get in there, so Mountain View will take the ball over on their 20. Great kick by the quarterback, and they weren't able to keep that out. That extra 20 yards could make a difference, too. Got to be paying attention.
And the ball did bounce their way. They just didn't down it soon enough. Those guys corralled it about the 3, let it roll down inside the 1.
Sure, special teams coach Jay Beckman down there having a conversation, asking why this ball is on the 20 and not the 1. All right, so Perry, Mountain View's on there, 1st and 20. Perry's going to take this ball himself right up the middle on a nice kick-out block. He's going to get chased down by Dave Crawford. Going to get down across the 40-yard line for the 1st down.
Here's your replay, folks. Perry just taking that right, an ISO play, right behind a running back. Nice block right there. puts his foot in the ground, bounces it to the outside.
Finch
Sees the defender
arm
coming.
tackle up top.
Crawford leading the team in tackles tonight. That's not good.
Nope. Perry going to take him down. Hands that ball off to Jones this time. Jones is going to get across the 40. Momentum's going to stop. Oh, momentum's going to continue to go. Looks like they're going to give him to the 45-yard line.
Good hard running by Jones.
Sure was. So he's going to get 5 the hard way, bringing up 2nd and 5. 3:43 left to play in this first half. Mountain View still on top by 17 points. Slot formation. Jones, the running back. Perry's going to take this ball himself again. This time, nothing to do with it. Big stop there by the nose tackle Rusnick from Mountain View, from Evergreen. Good picture there, Evergreen band. Mountain View has him set down. They're going to draw the nose guard across into the neutral zone. That is going to give them 3rd down and, oh, it looks like about a yard for the first down. Rusnick, the big guy, is going to come out of the game. Going to be replaced by Nate Futagavi, the big man, 365.
Also plays center on offense. He takes up some space.
Yes, he does. Perry now has them set. He's going to drop back. He's going to get the ball out to the flat. Oh, right off the shoelaces there. Jordan Cook unable to bring that one in. So that'll bring up 4th down and a yard to go. They'll need to get across the 50 for the first down.
We've saw a couple drop passes so far tonight in Mountain View's offense like that. Select guy here in footsteps. Thunder crowd a little subdued over there.
Okay, so they bring in the heavy package. Power T formation. Give that to the second back, and he is not going to make it. So Mountain View is going to turn that ball over on downs for the second time. Kudos to the Evergreen front 4 there for that big stop. Evergreen 1st and 10 from the Mountain View 49-yard line.
Had Perry just turned and faked that trap, delay released his tight end, he'd still be running down the field right now.
He sure would have.
Great field position with 2:21 to go for Evergreen here with another opportunity to put some points on the board.
This is one they cannot squander. Ryan Blaze has been the quarterback the entire second quarter.
I'm so sure I wouldn't have punted that one away.
Blaze now drops back, gets this ball out into the flat. Oh, and it's picked off right there. He makes the guy miss. He's going to outrun everybody for the touchdown. I don't see any flags. The possibility that he could have stepped out of bounds down here, but I'm not sure. Philip Earnhardt, pick 6 from the 45-yard line for a big 55-yard touchdown. Here's the tail end of that play, and they just were not able to corral that young man as he streaked up the line, up the sidelines there for the touchdown. Hargrove. Set up here to punt. And that is going to be good. So down to the last 2 minutes of the first half, Mountain View puts points on the board again on a big pick 6 by Earnhardt. This is the Eli Sports Network, Eli's ESP Sports as well. We'll be right back. Mountain View scores again, 27-3 is the score. 2 minutes left in the first half. Hargrove kicks this one off. Griffin picks it up right there at the 13-yard line. He's going to make it to the 25, and he's going to be met by a host of Thunder players who are going to stop him right there at about the 28.
Gulliford right in the middle of it.
Plays there in that final drive for Fort Vancouver in the second quarter.
Yeah, Turner does a good job of keeping his eyes downfield to find the receiver. Had a little bit of trouble sometimes hitting those receivers, but that'll come with time.
Timing route on that one, and that was Sean Mintoff, the target on the play.
Looked like Turner trying to go to the back shoulder on that play of Minta, and Minta not quite being on the same page there.
But a willingness there to air it out here in the second half, and you can see on the clock, incomplete pass does not stop the clock from moving here now. So second down for Fort Vancouver. Turner gets the ball back on the snap and gets the throw off, and nearly had it intercepted, but that went out of the hands for Prairie.
Yeah, freshman play there. He kind of panicked when that ball popped up out of his hands, just sort of heaved it downfield towards player in red, and could not complete it. Players weren't open, so kind of lucky there it wasn't a turnover.
For Prairie, it's a chance for them to have 2 more quarters of football while they await the scores of the other games happening tonight and their opportunity for the playoffs. 3rd and 10, it's a handoff for Lawrence, and Prairie defense steps up and stops him from getting back to the line.
And, you know, looking out at the Prairie players on the field, I've seen a lot of sophomores, juniors, freshmen, so I'm not sure about freshmen, but younger players anyway. So those guys getting an opportunity here. And we are going to see a rare sight, Fort's punting team.
A 4th down punt. I think we've only seen one other punt tonight. This one, a line drive, bounces to Mixon. That's Zeke Dixon, I should say. Still on his feet, all the way back to the 34-yard line.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, those low kicks like that, difficult for the defense to get downfield. Sometimes difficult for the blocks to set up, but with such a quick turnaround from punter's foot, the receiver's hands, he had a huge lane on the right-hand side of the field, on the big side of the field, nobody in front of him, and took advantage.
Called it right. Dixon able to see the entire field of vision with that ball coming in at eye level, essentially, and then taking that quick bounce right into his hands. So he's got a good 2-3 steps before any of those defenders at that point on the special teams are able to approach him.
Yeah, just picks up where he sees the most green and runs towards it.
So flag is bringing this ball back to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, singing the praises of the returner, but the return called back.
And for Prairie, still Logan Reed in the game at quarterback.
Somewhat of a surprise here, but he is a senior. Tough if you're a senior to have your last game end at halftime.
He is a senior, and he hands off to a fellow senior in Aaron Brumley, who gets the ball right back downfield where it was before that penalty. giving it another first down deep into Fort Vancouver territory at the 28-yard line.
Chain crew trying to hustle their way down, keep up with the offense here. Looks like they got tangled up with a Prairie player on the sideline.
Looks like everyone's okay, and as
you can see them at the top of your screen there trying to get into place.
Prairie's coach calling into play. Clock continues to tick now. Handoff on this one is Slagle. He's going to be close to another first down. And right now, Prairie just running the ball and saying, go ahead and get in front of us. We're still going to go that direction, and they're making progress.
So the starter's still in on offense, but probably not going to see any passing here, hopefully. We've got some trips down there on the bottom, triple receivers, but surprised if any of them get the ball here.
And you remember before the first half, Prairie was moving the ball yet again. They chose to take a knee and let the clock run out on halftime. This time, Logan Reed holds onto the ball, and the senior's going to get his touchdown right there, first one of the second half.
62-0 Prairie. And you can see the draw here. Actually, it looks like a read option. Reed decides to hold on to the ball, sees the lane, takes advantage.
Saw the opening, took it. Couldn't be stopped until he was past the goal line. So now another extra point try for Prairie would make it 63-0. Hits the soccer goal way in the back, and yes, it is it's good. So 63-0 now here at Kiggins Bowl.
It's a big score.
Now for Fort Vancouver, game got out of hand pretty quickly in the first quarter, 35 points, and continuing to rolling it on. They've already absorbed the feeling of being down. That's set in. They understand that. Now they're playing for an opportunity for improvement. They're playing for an opportunity for experience.
Absolutely. You know, trying to take positives out of this game tonight. You can see the nice shot at Kiggins Bowl there we had a moment ago. Not a huge crowd tonight, but a beautiful setting for football.
It just feels good to be outside tonight with a little coat on. You can enjoy this action, this final Friday night of high school football here.
Patrick, you and I remember a couple of years ago doing a game here together when the lights went out.
Lights went out. Was that the year that it also rained just nonstop?
Yes, the year we thought we were clever by doing live halftime shows outside. It rained every single game.
Flag on that return now. Is a little conversation happening, but that's over. So,
not sure what the penalty's for. There might be some holding. We'll see. Yeah, that was a fun game. I remember that. We were down on the sidelines. The lights went off, but we still had power, and we were live on TV. So you and I chatted for at least a half an hour, just ad-libbing and talking about life and football.
Under the canopy, that's right.
This penalty against Fort Vancouver will march them back 5-10 yards.
And I'll just take a moment to reflect on how nice it is for a fan, for a parent, for a community to have a television broadcast of their high school's football game. Coming from California, where we didn't have high school sports on television, I just got to say, it's so nice to look at these pictures, to see this game so clearly, to be able to watch this unfold. And of course, for the players and for the families who are here tonight, they're not watching it live. They're in the stands, they're on the field, but they'll get a chance to watch this later on. This will be preserved onto YouTube and social media. So what an asset it is, Nick, and kudos to you and your team for executing what is a very complicated broadcast and bringing high school sports to the community.
Oh, thank you. And you know, it's a testament to our school district. Our school district committed to broadcasting games, giving these students on the field, an opportunity to show what they can do, and you know what, giving the kids behind the scenes, the kids doing this broadcast tonight, an opportunity to develop, you know, their area of interest. So, you know, we think it's a big value to parents and family members to show off what our kids can do. And you know, we're lucky in Vancouver because of the way the cable system is set up that we actually have our own channel. We actually have grant money to purchase the equipment we're using tonight, because doing this stuff isn't cheap, but it is grant money, so it's a value to our community.
That's Narvasa looking for the pass on the sideline, and it'll be second down.
Yeah, Shear caught the ball, it looked like, but he was out of bounds, couldn't keep those feet in.
So we talked about the experience on the field for Fort Vancouver, for example, gaining experience tonight, but you just pointed out so well that there's a lot of experience happening off the field too, on the sidelines, in the stands, with the band, with the cheerleaders, with your team of young, inspiring people who want to get to understand this work, this broadcasting, and getting practice experience as well. As Myron Lawrence there takes the handoff, and this is going to be his best run of the night right there.
Good push on the right side by his tackle there to give him the space to go, and then he makes a smart cut up the middle. And to your point, you know, proof that learning doesn't stop when the bell rings. You know, we all need to be learners. You know, you hear in a school district, if you're in a school setting, you hear the phrase lifelong learner a lot. You know, and that's what's happening here. You know, the school day's over, but the kids out here working tonight are volunteering their time to learn and get better at their passion, which is for a lot of them video production.
Absolutely, as the handoff again goes to Lawrence, and once again he's able to pick up the first down on that play. Good run for Myron Lawrence there for Fort Vancouver.
Or you know, building their passion for cheerleading or playing music live. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime experience too for these kids. High school's the time to have these experiences.
You and I are both parents of young children, and you know, I'm hearing more and more from folks who have a little more experience that learning is really everywhere. There's education everywhere you look, every opportunity, whether you're at the grocery store, whether you're here at the game. And for these players, this score, 63-0, that's not going to get too much closer tonight. But there's learning going on right now on the field, as that near interception was dropped by Dixon. So Fort Vancouver will hold on to the ball for at least a third down opportunity here.
Yeah, I think actually second down here. But yeah, absolutely.
Second down.
You know,
pardon me. So they're learning how to deal with the adversity of being down by this amount, and how to keep soldiering on, and how for their coaching staff to continue to coach them on. Yeah, and for their parents to be supportive of them as they leave the field tonight.
And that is a life lesson. You know, you try not to take moral victories out of anything, but you know, you do. I mean, that's life. You improve and you keep working.
Well, especially here, when these athletes are those who dedicate their time, their hours outside of the classroom to this, without any kind of financial gain on their behalf, and the coaching staff doing this because they love teaching, they love coaching up kids. So
yeah,
there's a lot of victory tonight, even regardless of the score.
Looked like an illegal motion penalty there, or formation on Fort. So 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. Again, that running clock bringing us to a close a little sooner than normal.
Lawrence looking to block on the left side for Narvasa, who goes deep with the ball. He's got Minta open, and if he stayed in bounds, that's a catch. Looks like the refs are signaling that he has completed that catch at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, Narvasa taking a chance here, throwing it up as a jump ball, but he's got the right target. Minta, who we've seen can make the tough catches, he comes back to the ball, goes over the top, pulls it in. And what I want you to see at the end of the play here, if we stick with it for just a sec, this is important. Oh, we just missed it. Fort players picking up Prairie players. Sportsmanship matters, especially in a game like this.
So an earlier big play right near the end of the second quarter for Fort Vancouver. This time it's Narvasa throwing, and Lawrence on the run here, gaining some nice yardage, and the pile there moving very close to the first down marker.
Yeah, good push there by the Fort offensive line. Clears the way for Lawrence. Lawrence makes the right read on the hole, picks up a first down.
Narvasa on the throw there as Devin Turner, the freshman, not behind the center right now. It's Trevor Narvasa. Narvasa, I think that's the first time we've seen him look that deep on a throw and connecting there with Sean Minta. So they do get the first down, but this snap, he's going to have to dive onto it, and he is able to get on top. Narvasa avoiding the turnover, but that snap will be costly when it comes to the yardage they now need.
And Narvasa coming to the sideline here, holding his wrist, maybe took a stinger there or twisted it, holding his elbow. You can see there on your screen, talking to the coach, holding his elbow.
Yeah,
not a good sign for a quarterback.
No time to think about how to softly brace yourself and protect your body when you're just trying to make sure you hold on to the football for your team.
You get buried under the pile there.
So third quarter here comes to a close with the running clock. It's now 63-0 Prairie over Fort Vancouver with 1 quarter left to play.
So a quick moving third quarter. We saw 1 touchdown out of Prairie.
And now Fort Vancouver on a second down. They've got a lot to go here on the second down, but they've put a couple nice plays together. So they have an opportunity here to finish this game with a score.
And as you can see on your screen there, we've got some updates on the bond measure voters passed back in February. Voters approved new and replacement schools to make improvements across the district. So every school is going to get something, plus some of the older buildings will be replaced. Projects are already moving ahead, and just recently architects unveiled design concepts for Vancouver ITech Preparatory and Ogden Elementary. Other projects include a new track at Skyview High School and a roofing project at Geyser Middle School, a whole lot more. And if you want to see what the progress is on the bond measure that you, the Vancouver voters, approved, the schedule for future work, go ahead and go to that website on your screen, vansd.org/reschools. There's a whole bunch of information on there. There's video, there's pictures, there's the timeline, so you can see what's going to be happening in your neighborhood. Because again, every school's going to get something here. So whether it's new roofs or new playground equipment or even replacement schools, you can see what's going to be happening in your area. Our communications team has done a really great job of bringing that information to the public. I mean, voters out there approved it. We have an obligation to keep them up to date, and the website there has a lot of great information, so make sure you check that out.
And you can't understate the importance of that continued commitment to the kids.
And
back in action, that throw a little deep for the wide receiver, you're saying?
And Vancouver voters for over 50 years have approved levies to keep their schools funded. That's rare. A lot of communities don't do that, and they passed this bond measure by a record measure. It's $500 million. And that's to build new schools for kids, because a lot of the school buildings in our area are more than 50 years old. The average age of the school buildings being replaced was over 30 years, and that's far over what the state minimum is for buildings to be replaced, and that's due in part to our outstanding maintenance team, keeping buildings up and running. You can't keep them going forever, but they've kept them in tip-top shape, and now kids are going to have new schools.
Throw downfield. Looks like a flag thrown in that play. We'll see if that is an interference call, which would bring about an automatic first down.
Yeah, you could see the defensive back there reaching in and grabbing before the ball arrived. And, Minta showing himself a weapon there. If you're burned, it's better to commit the penalty in high school sports, especially with a pass interference only, being 15 yards instead of at the spot of the foul.
What's interesting for that on that play for the defender was the decision, as you say, to commit the penalty. I'm not sure if he makes that catch, if he's quite there to the first down marker. So this could be a really a big opportunity for Fort Vancouver to keep this drive alive now.
Yeah, good point there. Not an automatic first down on the penalty, so it looks like 3rd and 10 here for Fort. Manageable. This is the deepest they've been in Prairie territory so far.
So with 10 yards, that's a lot easier than 25. 3rd down now. Narvasa just has to get rid of it. He throws it up in the air up for grabs, and fortunately for Fort Vancouver, it's not grabbed, it's dropped.
That's a great job by the receiver there.
Number 15.
We don't have a number 15 on our roster, so I'm not sure who that is. However, he became the defender there. He needed to knock that ball down, and he did a great job.
Yeah, it was 2-on-1 Prairie defenders against that wide receiver, and somehow he managed to make sure that wasn't intercepted. But they get one more shot now at 4th down to pick up the first down and get closer to the end zone.
I'd be surprised if they didn't go to Minta again.
Yeah, that's been one of the observations in this game, is that Minta has shown some real strength in his kick returns and on his on-field receptions. So that would be the play you would think they'd have to be looking at.
It looks like we might have a timeout on the field. Yeah, Fort Vancouver calling a timeout there.
Hey, you mentioned about the bond, and I wanted to just note what you said about every school being impacted, and what that means is that every student at every school and all the parents and the homes and the community around those schools, they all see a benefit from this bond.
Yeah, you're not voting for something, and again, this passed in February, so voters weren't just voting for, you know, people in other parts of town. They were voting to help their own kids and the other kids, and I think that's a kind of a good way to, you know, get people to see the value in these bond measures, because, you know, it impacts every kid. So that means kids getting moved out of portable classrooms into permanent classrooms, and if you've ever been in a portable classroom, they're not, you know, as conducive to learning as a, you know, a regular classroom.
And on fourth down, Nervasa evades the defender and just gets rid of it, and that'll be a changeover on downs right there.
Yeah, unabated access to the quarterback number there by number 14. Nobody in front of Chad Haight.
You can see Nervasa saw the right side. It was Minta's side. He just didn't have the time to let the play develop.
Yeah, no blocker there on that side. So not much of a chance there for Nervasa to find an open receiver. Not much of a chance for a receiver to even get open with that little time.
So Prairie now with the farthest they've had to try to get downfield, starting off on the 22-yard line. I don't know if they'll be in a hurry to move the ball, but they certainly are a distance away from the goal line, and we'll see who's behind center now. It's number 2.
Zach Brown, a sophomore.
So the first experience for Zach Brown here, and it's a handoff.
I think that was number 20, Isaiah Breaker, on the carry.
Pick up at 2 yards.
And now Prairie moving away from the no huddle style offense we saw earlier.
Yeah, they started off the game fast, moving the ball, quick throws, dink and dunk, get a little bit of yardage here. That snap almost goes high. The quarterback, Brown, able to hold on, and he's taken down in the backfield. That's Minta on that strong tackle.
Yeah, the ability to contain that runner in the backfield, not letting him get into your secondary there. And you know, with Prairie going to the slowdown offense, it makes sense too. They're younger players, they're not as experienced on the field. Making sure you get it right, you know, get the play call right, get everybody on the same page. I mean, the ability of Prairie to run that offense without the huddle earlier shows you how much time those kids put in, because that's not an easy thing to do, to be coordinated, to be quick, to complete passes, and, you know, not have mistakes on offense. That takes commitment.
And so for Prairie right now on the field, it's still about execution. You still want to block the right way. That snap going over the head of Brown, he picks it up, and he's going to be tackled right down at the 2-yard line, looks like.
Give him a forward progress at the 2.
So I just started to talk about execution, and then you have that. So they still are going to be working on plays and getting practice and experience. Even though they're up big, they want to continue to focus on quality football.
And Fort with an opportunity to score here too. You know, safety's worth 2 points still, so an opportunity to break the goose egg.
That is true. The defense right now is in the best position of the night for them to get on the scoreboard.
And you know, 4th and 30.
Plus they get the ball back.
Yeah, and there's not much room for the punter here. So, you know, presuming Prairie punts here, which I would seem is pretty obvious. You know, normally you have 15 yards from the center to the punter. So when you shorten that distance, the snap is harder. You know, it's entirely possible if the snapper, as a former long snapper myself, you're used to hitting that window, and you know your punter right in the chest. He's 5 yards closer. It's not that hard to shoot it over his head.
So when you were a long snapper, did you practice an 11-yard snap for these types of situations?
Never. No. I was a terrible long snapper. You know, I was dragged into it unwillingly.
I don't know how much time they have in practice here these days either to practice the snapping on these situations where you have the ball on what is the 2-yard line. Looks like that's Logan Reed, quarterback, coming into the game to punt.
Getting one more play on the field here tonight, probably his last play, presuming Prairie doesn't have to punt again. And with the running clock and 6 minutes left in the game, it seems unlikely. Good snap.
Oh, he almost got to it. Gets it off, and it's caught at the 29-yard line by number 7.
Nick Hawk, the junior. So he does a smart play there. He covers it. He doesn't risk the fumble, because no matter what happens, as long as he keeps possession with Fort Vancouver, they've got good field possession. So a return's nice, but not necessary.
And one of the nice things is he did not allow that ball to bounce farther downfield. He kept it inside the 30-yard line by fielding that and catching it on the fly.
Yeah, taking it in the chest too, not allowing it to stretch up into his hands where a fumble's more likely. Seeing it right into his breadbasket.
So they spot him at the 28 actually on this drive, and looks like Narvasa still is back there. Wrist must be feeling okay. Myron Lawrence right up the middle, and the ball comes loose, but Fort Vancouver is able to get onto it.
Yeah, Darius Shear quick to get down on that ball, trap it onto the turf. Looks like Lawrence might be down. You know, based on the way he's holding his leg, maybe a knee injury, could be a cramp even on a long night like this. Hopefully just a cramp.
Even with the fumble, Lawrence on the run, that picks up 5 yards once recovered by Fort Vancouver. So it'll be 2nd and 5, and just make sure Myron Lawrence is okay out there. Looks like he's sitting upright and drinking something.
Yeah, tough to tell. You know, he's paying attention to that left leg, but the way he's moving seems to me like a cramp, but it's tough to say. Yeah, and they're pulling him up, so I'm guessing he's just cramped.
Good to see.
But obviously he's got to sit out a play, right? Yeah, here he comes off the field.
If anything, it gives him a little bit of a rest on a night like tonight.
When you're playing both ways, just a playoff makes a difference. And he's playing the defensive line and in the backfield, as we talked about earlier. So the clock moving again, 4:50 left.
Fort Vancouver has just under 5 minutes to try to score, and I think this might be their last opportunity, given the running clock, to put some points on the board tonight.
There's a big run.
Yep, that's Runkle.
Good to have the senior there. Well, it's actually, he's only a junior, so that's good news for Fort Vancouver. I thought he was a senior.
Not only is it a first down for Fort Vancouver, it's a 1st and goal. First time they could say that tonight.
Now Runkle wearing 81, you can see out of the backfield instead. Nice cut there, evades a tackle.
Nice stiff arm to get 3. A couple extra yards based on that.
Yeah, some tough running there.
Okay, so the game within the game right now, 1st and goal for Fort Vancouver. Runkle again on the carry, and he gets down to the 5-yard line.
Prairie had the chance to blow that up in the backfield, but Runkle evades the tackle, picks up a couple of yards.
For the next play or two, you forget the score right now. This is just about whether you can get into the end zone, whether you can get points.
Play by play, possession by possession.
Keep in mind, too, Fort Vancouver has not scored, not only tonight, but in the last 2 games. So an opportunity right here as Narvaso rolls left, stays in bounds to get those extra yards, pays the price on the hit.
Goes down to the 1.
But gets down.
And you know, Narvaso made a really smart decision there, because he had 2 receivers converging in that area. Could have flipped it up there, but defense in position, holds on to it, takes the hit and gets it down to the 1. So they've got 2 plays here to try to score.
Rather than forcing it, as you say, you get 2 more shots to get into the end zone because he chose to hold on to that. Get it down to the 1-yard line is where they're marking it at.
And a Prairie player briefly down there, but he is subbed out. That's number 52. That's actually, I don't have 52 on our roster, so I'm not sure who that player is, but he seems to be okay. He ran off of his own volition there. And it looks like Lawrence coming back in the game. Curious to see if we'll see an interior run with the big man.
With a yard to go, it would make sense here for Narvasa to hand it off to Lawrence and just power it in. But this will be a battle of the lines to determine that. Oh, they just got it off before the play clock, and the snap goes out of the hands of Narvasa. Prairie recovers.
And that has to be disappointing for the Trappers there. That's a tough way to end what is likely their last offensive possession of the year. So close to the end zone, and a mistake made by young players. You know, it's what happens sometimes.
Yeah, that exchange between the center and the quarterback ends that possession. Prairie with 2 minutes left. If they don't try to hurry on this game will be over before they've given up the ball.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see much of a push here from Prairie to run plays. I think mathematically they've got to run a few, but
and yet, if you were to look at the cheerleaders, you would think this game's tied. Still into this game with plenty of enthusiasm. It's great to see.
You know, they wouldn't be good cheerleaders if they weren't good at cheering, and they are darn good at cheering.
Yeah.
So
we got to delay a game penalty on Prairie, which will ice the fact that this game is about to come to an end, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to risk injury at this point. No one wants to rub anything in at this point, so, you know, run a couple of running plays in this game on a good sportsmanship note.
Handoff run will get the ball back up. Look at that pile moving.
Still no whistle. Did I miss the whistle?
And I think we have time with a minute left for one more play here.
Yep, they'll have to run one more, and then they should be able to just run that clock out.
I see what looks like, yeah, that's Aaron Brumley on the field, number 6. That's his final play for high school football. If Prairie doesn't move forward for Fort Vancouver or any of their seniors, this is it right here. Last play. And they'll take a
victory formation there. So that's it. We got about 20 seconds to march off the clock. The chain gang has thrown down their tools to signal that they're done for the night.
So Prairie comes out strong here tonight. Emphatically says we want to be in the playoffs, doing everything they can with this 63-0 victory tonight. That's it. There's the horn. Fort Vancouver had a lot of drives that looked good at moments, but they could not get it into the end zone. Prairie strong. If they get into a playoff opportunity, they're looking pretty good after tonight. They'll probably have a lot of confidence going too as the teams line up at midfield to congratulate each other on trying, on working hard, and on, as you said before, not giving up. But for Prairie, it's scoreboard watching now, Nick.
And speaking of that, good news if you're a Hudson's Bay fan. 5:02 left in the game. Hudson's Bay has just gone up 24-20 over Kelso. They went 44 yards on a 7-play drive, scored on a sweep. Not sure who scored the touchdown there. So Hudson's Bay doing its part to try to clinch one of those playoff spots, which would be its first since 2001. So a big deal for that school. And you know, a team that just 3 years ago was in the same place that Fort Vancouver is now. So it's never hopeless. Teams can always turn it around. Schools can always turn it around depending on the coaches and the willingness of the administration to get the team turned around. I know there's a lot of will at Fort to do that, so look at Hudson's Bay.
And for the players on the field, both sides, Fort Vancouver and Prairie, a lot of energy and enthusiasm. They know they're coming off the field potentially for the final time. Sounds like with Hudson Bay leading that game that the Prairie fans should really savor this win tonight. Big win for them at 63-0 for Fort Vancouver. The season ends they can carry forward into next year the fact that they've gained new experience. They got to play some younger players. They had some connections made on some pass plays. Their defense stood up in the second half with a running clock, but they did stop a couple plays. They forced the punt right there toward the end zone. So they had some stuff on the second half that they can be proud of as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's equally important is there was no quit. You know, years past, you know, I followed this 14 for a long time, and you know, in past years when things went bad, sometimes, you know, the heads went down, the play got sloppy as the players lost focus, but that didn't happen with this team this year. So
you can see Coach Broussard there down on the sidelines, making sure that everybody is thanked and appreciated and feels good going into the locker room. That's great to see. And there's the Prairie players.
Prairie wrapping up that season potentially here and trying to have a nice message here at the end of the year to their players.
Yeah,
Coach Baker.
Nice to see the Prairie fans, the parents, the community members travel here to support their team. Same with Fort Vancouver, to have that presence of the family, the supporters, the school, the band. Well, you know,
Patrick, thanks for coming out tonight. This is our last broadcast of the fall season. We'll be back for basketball in the winter. Maybe we'll get you to make the long drive through traffic to come out again. So if you are a fan of high school sports, VPS Game Time is the district's sports broadcasting program, and you can follow us on Twitter. We'll have our schedule out for basketball here probably next week, maybe the week after. We're going to cover every team in the school district like we always do. Boys, girls, Skyview, Columbia River, Hudson's Bay, and Fort. We've got you covered. Really excited about basketball this season, and we had an awfully fun fall season. So
always great to see what you, your entire team, your school district, and the entire Vancouver community do to support these athletes, the schools, and the parents as well who live this experience of high school sports. Always fun, and it's always a pleasure to be out here.
Well, thanks, Patrick, and I'll let you wrap this puppy up.
Well, that'll take it from here at the Kiggins Bowl. Final score is Prairie 63, Fort Vancouver 0. The scoreboard will tell us if Prairie has another game in it this season, and for Fort Vancouver, it's next year. Looking good. Thanks for being with us here at Kiggins Goal. For Nick Vole, I'm Patrick Preston. Have a great night.
This VPS Game Time broadcast is brought to you in part by the Foundation for Vancouver Public Schools, getting kids to school healthy, happy, and ready to learn. For more information, go to www.foundationforvps.org.